podcast. Okay, so you know what? I got somebody here with me, okay? And her story is so inspirational and so inspiring. I thought I was an inspiration, but what she has to say and the heart that she has, whew, you guys are gonna hear something that is so awesome and just so caring and just such an individual that is so willing to help. And I want you to welcome my Mayan tribe. Please welcome Steph. Steph is an amazing individual. She is head of Treasured Stone, and she is going to give us a rundown on what Treasured Stone does. Hello, beloved. How are you?
Hello, hello. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're quite welcome. Thank you for being here with us.
Uh,
Appreciate that. Okay, so tell us about Treasured Stone.
So I guess the whole idea is to discover a journey that's worth searching for, right?
Mhm.
If we're not living a life that holds a purpose and we don't have a desire or even know how to find something that is going to fulfill those pieces in our hearts that God has placed in there for us to do to fulfill our calling in our own authentic way, then
Mhm.
we're kind of just surviving and sometimes even just existing. And so this whole idea behind Treasured Stones is to um, help people to understand through their dreams, their goals, their passion, the core of who they've always been, how
Yeah.
to fulfill who they're called to be.
I love that because many people forget, or if not forget, they ignore. And
Yeah.
then just, or they just don't know. I mean, there's always that option as well. And so you're not listening, or you're asking all the wrong questions.
Mhm.
Let's put that out there first. Sometimes we think that things are supposed to come in a certain way, but it doesn't. And then we don't acknowledge what has come
Mhm.
to see
Right.
that as the something that's going to solve the problem. But we like, oh well, that's not what it's supposed to look like.
Yeah.
But it reminds me of that story. There's a story, and it's the weirdest thing, and but it's interesting all the same. It was someone that was in a tornado, and the flood and all that stuff came up, and so they said, I'm just going to pray about it, and the Lord is going to get me out of this, okay? And so here comes a boat. It's a
Mhm.
man in a boat, and he said, come on, sir, come on, come on, come on, I'm going to help you. He said, no, 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 that's okay. God is going to get it for me, and we are going to be okay. And so then the Coast Guard comes. Coast Guard comes and says, come on, sir, we're going to get you off there. No, 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 no. The Lord is going to save. And then the airplane goes right across and drops down the ladder. And he goes, no, 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 I'm good. Don't worry, because the Lord is going to save me from drowning. He drowned.
Yeah.
And then he goes to God and says, God, why didn't you save me? He said, I sent the boat, I sent the Coast Guard, and I sent the airplane, and you didn't take not near one of them.
Right. That's right. Yep. That's right. I mean, isn't it true? We are called to be a community. Like the his number one command is to love me and love your neighbors as you love yourself. So we have
Mhm.
to love ourselves and we have to learn to love other people and join together as that community because we all need each other. And I feel like so many people think that they can't make a difference. Like they're too broken, they're too lost, they're too
Mhm.
whatever it is, they're not significant enough. We are all so valuable and we all are a piece to this big puzzle and we all need one another. And
Yes.
this is absolutely what that's all about. So yes, that analogy is spot on for this whole thing.
You know what? Let me, if you can give me like a rundown. Like, what does it look like going into this group or into your establishment with the treasured stone?
Yeah. So, John 10:10 tells us that the enemy comes only to kill, steal, and destroy. Like, right? That is his only plot. But
Mhm.
Jesus, the other part to this verse is Jesus comes that we would have life and live it abundantly. And so he wants to restore all these things that the enemy tries to shoot against us. And so when the Lord put treasured stones on my heart, the whole idea is that life does throw stones at us. And sometimes these stones take us by surprise.
Mhm.
Sometimes they're things that we put into motion ourselves, but we can take them, we can grow, we can learn from them, we can share our wisdom and our that grows through that and our experiences, and they become our greatest treasure. And those are our treasured stones. And
Mhm.
so that's the whole idea behind this. And so, what I do is host workshops, and eventually I'm going to be coming out with merchandise pieces, gratitude journals, and planners, and different things that go along with what comes out of these workshops. But in these workshops, they're all based on starting out discovering, number one, what's your most favorite part of who you are. So, for instance, mine is my compassion for people. Okay, so that compassion, what can that one thing do to help other people? That one thing, what is the power in that one attribute that you have? So, out of
Mhm.
compassion, I can help others, I can pour into others, I can share my experience, all these things. Um, then you take that attribute, that favorite thing about yourself, and you throughout the workshop, and we grow that, and we
Mhm.
discover different goals and different dreams, and we eventually create vision boards. But if you're just going to throw up a vision board of a bunch of ideas, oh, I want the big house, I want the money, I want to be skinny, I want to be this, I want to be like, why though? What's the purpose behind it? And so all
Right.
these things that we think that are so important and that we want, that we're constantly searching for all out here, we start to discover it's all in here, it's all in our hearts, it's all
Mhm.
within us. We can't find these other things that you're really searching for. And then the whole, there's a promise that God gives us and tells us, if you will walk this walk with me, I have my fruits of the spirit that I will pour into you. And
Mhm.
so I get emotional over it. So, the whole love, peace, joy, like, who doesn't want to wake up and feel these things? And
Mhm.
when I say walk with purpose, okay, we hear that all the time, but that's what I'm
Mhm.
saying. When we are doing something that pours out love, that brings an internal joy, that brings us peace,
Mhm.
kindness, gentleness, goodness, faithfulness, and
Yeah.
and I think the whole idea of putting it at the end of the story is self-control, right? Because that's the part that
Mhm.
we think we get so driven by our emotions and so driven by our circumstances. But when we can learn to pause and be still and
Mhm.
be in control of our own world and what we're doing and why we're doing it,
Mm.
the, the amazing things that come out of that are
Yeah.
beyond anything we could ever create ourselves.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what we do. And you know what's so beautiful is 4 years ago when he put this on my heart, I had no idea that come 2020, we were going to be living in such chaos and division, and
Mhm.
everybody has this opinion and that opinion and whatever. But this, this treasured stones experience is for
Mhm.
everybody. This
Yeah.
doesn't just work for some people. This doesn't just work, if you've had this upbringing or that upbringing, or if you live
Yeah.
here, no, this is for everybody, because
Right.
God has created everybody and loves all of us equally. And this is just learning to use what he gives us individually so that we can collectively come together and make his work and his plans and his ways come to fruition.
I love that. You know what? Let me ask you this, right? And we had discussed right before we even got on um the end goal, and different things like that, and what does it look like when you are, you're like, as you go, how does this look?
Yeah, yeah. So it started out, um, I love, and you had said, other guests, you've heard say that they love Terry Savelle Foy and who what her what her ministry has poured into me, just like so many other people, is more than I even have words to express. So I started listening to her podcast, and the best way I always describe it is she started speaking my thoughts. And the big difference that I realized is she was putting action to the words she was speaking, and I was busy just thinking it all the time. And so she has taught me how to learn how to put these thoughts into action. And so
Right.
as I was listening to a podcast like I've been doing for about 5 years, the Lord spoke to my heart and said, you should host dream board workshops. And at first I was like, yeah. And I was like, no, nobody else is going to care about this. Nobody else is going to have this passion. Like, it's going to be silly. It's going to seem, all the what ifs and all that doubt just flooded me. And so for 2 months, I fought him on it. And for 2 months, he kept telling me, nope, do this, do this. And so I started in 2016 hosting some dream board workshops where we do, like I said, eventually build our dream boards. But what has transpired through that, I started out, Miss Terry has a book called Dream It, Pen It, Live It. It's an amazing book. If you don't have it, you pay the postage and she'll send you one for free. Um, Everybody should get that book. But I started out just following that word for word and just going through chapter by chapter. And eventually I started like believing what the book was teaching us, right? It took a while because this is a journey. It's not an overnight fix. And then I just started thinking like, okay, Steph, how are you going to do this to make this authentically yours? How are you going to own this? And so I eventually, the Lord showed me how to do it, Steph's way, using Terry's words and using other people. As I was sharing with you earlier, Lisa Nichols, Les Brown, TD Jakes, all these people that just drive this whole idea of following your dreams, discovering them and following them. I mean, I go on walks and I clean at night and I do all these things, and that's all I'm doing all the time for years now, listening to podcast after podcast of all these great people. So what has transpired is this big dream of mine that I never thought would ever, I had no idea. I didn't even see it coming. I know I've always loved people. I've struggled throughout so much of my life feeling so less than. And now that I have learned to love myself the way that the Lord wants us to love ourselves, I just want to share so much with other people that they can do it too. And so my big ultimate dream is to have a twofold ministry. And it's so amazing because it's so real in my heart, even though it's not in reality. Other people can't see it. I can see it, right? Because the vision is so clear on my heart. And so I am going to continue these workshops, and I want to eventually turn them into a retreat. People come in and we do this weekend retreat. There's lodging, there's food. It's like a whole spa type atmosphere. I just want to just pour in and just make these ladies who come in and are part of it feel so special. But then on the other side of it, I also want to have my own women's shelter type environment where I want to house women. And these women come in and they're part of the Treasured Stones experience. They learn and they grow with me, and they learn skill sets and communication and learn to speak their story, that they matter, that their broken pieces can be somebody else's treasure, that can be somebody else's gift, and that they are a gift. And so they will help me to prepare and become a part of the Treasured Stones experience, these weekend retreats. So the ladies that come in, they pay for the retreat, will help fund the nonprofit, but the nonprofit, the time, the experience, the love helps make the workshops happen. And that's the dream. That's what I'm working on. And
yes, and it's paying it forward, and as I said to you before, it's all about this, planting a seed and always take and being able to get the harvest as well. And I
Mhm.
thought that was such an awesome thing that you were even explaining to me, because you're like, on one hand, you're helping women. You're helping them get on their feet and get a trade, and be able to, like, really, really understand and be grateful for the opportunity, one, and then two, at the same time, you're helping the people that are there as well. So
Right.
it's not just a job. It's always it's a form of, helping and different things like that. And I'm like, you have to be so just bare. You got to be just so open. Like, your heart has to be so open for you to be able to even do something like that, and
Mhm.
just submit to where you are, only, like, respectfully, in that manner, that you're like, you know what, I can use my humility,
Mhm.
and and I'm taking and I'm pouring out all the things that I don't know, only to take in the things that I want to know, that's going to do and be an excellent testament to my life, because that's a life-changing thing, I think, for the
Right.
most part, certainly. But honey, girl, I know you can do this. I really.
No. It's like everybody wins. It's
Mm,
just a win, 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 win
yes.
situation. And um, until you're a part of these workshops, like, you just have no idea. Everybody walks away understanding that we all are we're so vulnerable in our own ways, but we're so beautiful and we're so called. And um, we have this way of placing everybody on different levels. And then when you discover and you have these 8 women that are all together in this room, and maybe most of them are complete strangers, and then you find there's these little connections, just these little
Mm,
things that you think, oh, only I thought I wanted to go there, only I wanted to do that, but other people want to do this too. Or they help filter in new promises and hope into you. And they see, there's a piece of it where we take these little magnets and they look like a quilt, and everybody writes down for each person what this is the last final exercise that we leave with. And so everybody takes time to read their little pieces of the quilt over each person. And so it's just this affirmation, and then at the end you have this little magnet quilted treasure. I keep calling everything a treasure because it really is, that you leave with. And on those broken days, on those sad days, on those hard days where we, don't even want to get up and do anything, or we feel like life is so hard, you take these little quilted pieces and you read what everybody else has poured over you, what they see in you. And
mm,
it's just, you leave so filled. You leave
yeah.
so filled, and not only for your own self, but what you've been able to provide for somebody else.
Mhm. Oh,
It's
wow.
it's so amazing.
Yes, it is.
It
Okay.
really is.
So,
It
I
really is.
I think this is such an attestment, mm, it's a testament to, basically your heart and your
Yeah,
heart's cry,
yeah,
and how you feel about people in general, and you're worried about their hearts, you're worried about their mind and their mental, abilities, and just having the time to even be at a retreat. It's supposed to be soul searching. This is the moment and the time where the noise has to go away.
yeah,
The time to cast your cares upon him, for he cares and cares for you. And
right,
so when you do so at that moment in time, I mean, I think that just fills everyone. It
mhm,
just gives everyone just a loving and caring and spiritual hug, whether that's, physically, but definitely mentally,
right.
and everybody can get something out of this. So, you know what, Sister Sledge, I need to know. I need to know. Okay, so with you being with Treasured Stone, what was the story behind that?
Yeah. So, you know, growing up, everything starts with our childhood, it really does. And I definitely, my mom, I never met my biological father. My mom actually was in a very abusive, very scary, abusive um, relationship with him. And when she was 6 months pregnant with me, he actually beat her up again and was kicking her in the stomach, saying, I'm going to kill that baby. And
Mm,
so she finally had the courage to leave. And
mhm,
fast forward 5 years old, stepdad comes into my life. And even though he wasn't physically abusive, he was very manipulative. And he wasn't physically abusive to her, but he
mhm,
was to us kids. And
mm,
so, and I was 10 years old, 11 years old, and he one day he picked me up by my neck, and I'll tell my kids the story, and it's like I can still, like, right here, you can just feel those fingers just sinking into my skin, and he
mm,
threw me, started kicking me,
mm,
and he told my mom I did it, and I don't know that she really believed him, but maybe to keep peace, I don't know, whatever reason, but she took his side like she always did. And
mm,
I stood up against him. And when I went to school Monday morning, people asked me, What happened? I was like, I'll tell you what happened. And let me
mm,
tell you, he never touched me again. And so
mm,
it really started. I knew I always had this strength in me. And
right.
I'm fearless, and not fearless out of ego at all, but just God's just instilled the strength that I knew I would never go through what my mom went through. Um,
Mm,
but as life would have it, I get involved with my husband now, but we lived years a life of addiction, and I
mm,
definitely am very open with my story. If anybody ever wants to go to my Treasured Stones page, you'll see it on there.
mhm,
We shared our testimony not too long ago in my husband's aunt and uncle's church, and so we've just lived this life of lack and life of addiction and life of pain and life of darkness. And we were living in California. We fled basically, and sold everything we had, packed up our little U-Haul, and headed out one day. I mean, from the moment that the idea came to mine to
mhm,
the time that we left was about 2.5 weeks. We were gone and out of there because we needed something more. Um,
mhm,
and that's a whole nother story, I know. But basically, I always say the family that left California is not the family who arrived in Minnesota. We
mm,
were in Minnesota for about 8 years, and now we live in northern Wisconsin. And just that was in 2002 when we moved, and we've just been on this search. And I mean, it's a bumpy road, right? It's not like you get to
mm,
the other side and now it's all roses. It's still a roller coaster. I mean, you gotta
mhm,
work through stuff, and you still have these past things that want to creep up, but it's never been what it was. It was never back to that bad. But through that, my husband and I have stayed together, and we've stayed connected, and we finally are in this aligned walk where we just want to pour out and to help other people who are
mhm,
so broken and so down and out, to know that they are worthy, that they can do this, that they can get past this. And so in June, I was honored and blessed to start having the opportunity to work in our local women's shelter. It's all volunteer work, which is just amazing. And I stay 2 nights a week there, and I work with these women, and I work with them, and all I can say is God is so good. And when he puts these things in your heart, if you will follow it, get out all of your what ifs and I can't do it, and just follow his direction, what he is doing through me works. And on this journey, I have about, well, there's three for sure. They will still contact me, these girls, and they're like, You saved my life. Like, they were on the brinks of suicide, and
mm,
just loving them unconditionally,
mhm,
pouring into them and not stopping and
right,
fearlessly going after the enemy on their behalf. It
mhm,
works. And their
mm,
recovery stories, it's just when you're
mm,
part of something like that, and you really are doing it, you really get the opportunity to work in it, and like I said, to take all these thoughts and ideas and learn to put them into action, and then you
Right.
see how it inspires other people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm never gonna stop. I'm never gonna stop. And
Mm.
and part of me feels like I'm just starting, but part of me I'm like, no, this has been a lifelong journey. So
Mm-hmm. Things happen, and they happen for a reason. It's more so we don't know, what's in the GPS. We don't know what road we have to go down. We don't know what if it's bumpy or is it smooth or is it new or it's got a whole bunch of debris and different things like that. We just don't know until we get there, and then we're all we are all just kind of at that point where are we going to keep going?
that's
Are we
right.
going to keep going? Let's keep
That's right.
going. Let's keep going. And I think people like that are true testaments, to the will of a person, the will of the heart,
Yeah.
the will of just having a better life and wanting something better for themselves. And I think that is an amazing thing, especially you getting the opportunity to be in these people's lives and
Yeah.
different things like that. And I mean, everything, I think it takes a small voice, but sometimes it takes a big hug, you
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
just
Good.
just someone to just love on, like you said, you just love on them and just let them know, what it might seem bad for now, but just know that the Bible says trouble don't last always.
That's right.
And it's and I think even with childbirth, you have to have in your mind to know it's going to be over. There
Yeah.
has to be an end.
Right.
It will stop.
Right.
you know, and
Right.
that's how
And it's
yeah,
worth it, right? It's so
it
worth it.
is, but you're birthing a new thought process. You're birthing a new life. You're birthing, and the harder the birth, the better, because that means that a lot of things get tossed aside and thrown out, and you may have nothing left. But
Right.
then you allow God to give you everything that you need, and he's going to replace it with everything he said he was going to give you, but you didn't know that it was coming. And I keep having this this word that keeps coming over to me, and I'm trying to understand what it is, but I'm pretty sure you're gonna help me on this one, sis. I know you can. Right? He told me FedEx, and I said, FedEx? He said, all the blessings that I have for you are coming express.
Mm,
I have you. Don't worry.
yeah.
And I'm like, ooh, I need me. I was just like, oh my goodness, Lord, I thank you. I
Yeah.
thank you for express. If when you believe in your heart that, he is Lord and that he has all power and dominion over everything that he chooses to have in your life. What makes you think that he's your heavenly father? What makes you think that he doesn't want you to have anything?
Right. Right. That's just it. I mean, he didn't create us just because, Like, I think about, like, there's all these beautiful, I love nature and I love getting out in waterfalls and just
Yes.
lakes and all things nature. And I look
Mhm.
at this whole creation and this whole planet that he has made. And I'm like, and yet he still needed us because
Yes.
he wasn't complete until he had us,
Yes.
you know?
Who wouldn't want the love? Because think about it. When he blessed us to have life and
Mhm.
that more abundantly, right?
Yeah.
Would we not give him the love that we would give our father, our mother and father?
Right.
And be like, you know what? Thank you for giving me a roof over my head, clothes on the back, food on the table. We know it was hard, but yet you did it anyway.
Right.
But it's nothing's hard for him. And so he's just like pouring out a blessing. And
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
everything is hitting us in the head. And let's
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. And his ways, I mean, I couldn't create this if I tried. Like, there's so many little details and so many little entities that he has brought in, and I'm just like, whoa. Like, and whoever I share it with, whoever I get on this journey with, they're the same way. I'm like, we could never, ever have planned this the way it's fallen. This is all him. And his
Yeah.
ways are so much more. And his ways are so much, there's just an overflow that doesn't stop if we will just allow him to get in and do the work with us and for us. And we do it through him and his ways and just give him the reins and the glory and the honor. And he just, like you said, pours those blessings over us. And it is just so amazing. And my biggest thing of it all is it's never found out here. It's never found in material things, status quo. None of that. It's always comes from within, and it's for everybody. It's
Yeah.
for all of us.
Mm-hmm. And the very next person you may meet may be the one that needs to hear your testimony, your story, your accomplishments, all that. You are here for a reason. Such a time as this. That's what I say, right? For such a
Right.
time
That's
as this.
right.
And
Yeah.
we need that more than ever now because it's like there's so much doom and gloom in the world and we need a blessing. We need a miracle. We need everything that is here on earth that we're equipped for. And I think that is an amazing thing. Girl, you are so amazing. You are just absolutely amazing. And I'm just floored at just the things that you want to do, and different things like that. I do this podcast is basically to give those that may not like their situation, that may not see a way out, may not even know what they want to do. It gives them options.
Yeah.
It gives them
That's right.
stories. It gives
Right.
them something to, think about. Let's think about this. Well, maybe there's something in this person's story that I can take and I can use to get me into a better situation. And I think that is an absolute, amazing thing that I get the opportunity to speak with Stephs of the world,
Yeah. Right. Right.
it's amazing. I really think, that this is just something that, we all need, me included, you guys, okay? First off, I can be goofy and different things like that, but you know what? We all need, we need somebody to give us a story, something we can hold on to and know that, what? They went through some things, but you know what? It's okay. And I'm going to do some things. And I know what? It's okay. And so knowing that, I just want you guys to know, my Mayan tribe, just know I'm always in your corner and I'm going to always be your cheerleader. I want to be that person that's always going to give you, a kind and just wonderful word. And just know that, if you ain't got nobody else in your corner, you got me and Steph. Me and Steph, we tag team duo
Yeah,
right
that's right. It's awesome. Yeah.
I think everybody knows the deal. Y'all know what it is. I'm on Patreon now. If you want to be on the show, you can just reach me at oneladyMyya@gmail.com. That's Myya as Myya. You guys, and Steph, let them know how they can reach you as well, dear heart.
Yeah, Facebook for sure. If you want to email me, it's a treasured stones experience at Gmail. Otherwise, you can find me, Steph Hamblin, through my Facebook there, or I'm on Instagram, but I've probably grown my Facebook platform a little bit more because it's just what I understand at this point, and I'm still growing. and learning on that. But yeah, I'd love to have you join if you would like, and because we all need each other.
Yes, we do. We all need each other. Well,
Yeah,
thank you, my Mayan tribe. My Mayan tribe thanks you, Steph. Thank you for your time, your
thank
effort, and
you.
your energy, dear heart. And I appreciate you greatly, greatly. Okay, you guys, you know what the deal is. Deal is please like, subscribe, and do all that good stuff. You know, I'm going to have so much coming up, you guys. You know, it's not just the radio show, but it is the TV show. So get with the program, you guys. And I love you guys so much, Mayan Tribe. Woohoo! Super fans. I love you guys so much. I do with all my heart. And so you know why it's MYYA? Because a homegirl is special. I will see you guys later.